Austin, can you just
Hello.
talk about how excited are you to be here? What do you think you can contribute, and why did you want to come to Cleveland?
No, I mean, I'm really excited to be here. I mean, Coach Stefanski, I've been with players who've been around him in the past and had nothing but great things to say. So from a leadership perspective, that was something that really interested me from the beginning. Once I heard he was taking over as the head man, and not only that, but I mean, just taking a look at the talent of the roster. I mean, it's just on paper one of the most talented entities in all of football. I mean, just taking a look, especially on the offensive side of the ball, looking at the guys on the perimeter and Odell and Jarvis, and having young talented quarterback like Baker, having talented tight end like David Njoku, and having some really good O linemen, and to add that with a pair of really talented running backs, it's just being on the offensive side of the football is just way too exciting of an opportunity to pass up.
Did you say you were on a mission with Gary Barnidge when all this began?
Yeah, I was part of Gary Barnidge's foundation. So every year we pick like a different spot around the world and do some charity work and put on camp for kids. So it was Jordan Cameron and Gary Barnidge. So 2 Browns tight ends at the time, now 3. But it was good, being overseas with them for a week. I mean, I kind of, I had an idea. Of places I wanted to go once the legal tampering period occurred, and I was actually able to talk to teams. And one of the teams, obviously, they both were talking about, very positive way was Cleveland, just speaking about the fan base and just the city itself. So, I mean, they sold the idea to me before, legal tampering even occurred. And then by the time Browns and I were actually able to speak for the first time, which was, the first day of legal tampering period, I believe that was the 16th or 17th. You guys check the date on that one. But, yeah, it was kind of just already planted in my mind. It's just, a potential spot I really wanted to go, and I'm really excited.
And where were you guys?
Budapest, Hungary.
Hey, Austin, what did Gary and Jordan say that really swung you about Cleveland or convinced you that this was the right spot, beyond just all the talent that's here already?
Yeah, I mean, again, just the fan base and the culture. That was what they preached the most. They said, how much they enjoyed their time playing there. I mean, obviously they would like to win a couple more games throughout their time there, but they said the fan base and the city is just so fully immersed in the Cleveland Browns and is so tied in to the Cleveland Browns. From what they said to me, it was just a unique experience because, Barnidge came from, the Panthers, obviously, so he's seen how the NFC South is, and Jordan, after his time in Cleveland, went down to Miami, and just, both those guys see how, there's just, the fan bases are different wherever you go, and both of them, without me even, trying to sway them one way or another, both of them were like, yeah, no, that was by far one of the best. That was the best football experience from a fan and community perspective they both have had. So that was something that really stood out to me. Because I feel like a lot of times that a lot of fans forget like players or people. I mean, it sounds kind of weird, but it's from what those 2 guys told me. Like there's actually like less of a disconnect than other places. So something that may seem trivial to some, but if you're a player like that speaks volumes.
Thank you.
What do you know? Do you know much about David Njoku and how you and he will work together in certain formations?
No idea, man. I wish, when this whole situation comes to pass, I'll get to know David a lot better. I'll get to understand, my role within the offense a lot better and see, how we both can play off each other and we both can complement each other. So, good question. I just don't have an answer for you at this point in time.
Hey, Austin, what was the process like of getting things settled up on your end, the physical and signing with, you alluded to the situation we're all facing with the coronavirus. What was all that like? Was that difficult?
Very unique. I wouldn't say super difficult. I mean, definitely weird. Because obviously nothing, in our young country's history, we've had, thank God, nothing like this to deal with in the past. So it's, it's new for everyone. So this was a new process. Like, most of the time in my world, if I have questions, I go to my agent. My agent, falls back on this decades of experience, right? But in this one, it's, new experience for everyone involved. So it was interesting, I would say. I wouldn't say difficult. Like, it was just obviously incredibly unique, is what I'd say.
What does that mean? Like, did you go to like an independent doctor near where you were? Or how did that all work?
Went to an independent. It was good. I mean, I just waited for the doctor to get out of surgery, and then I had a bunch of my the Browns sent over a bunch of paperwork. So then the doctor and I just went over, everything. I mean, knock on wood, I've been pretty healthy throughout my career, so it's only like a 10-minute physical. So, all positive. Just, different protocol than we're all used to.
Did you have any trouble getting back from Budapest?
We were one of the last flights out of Amsterdam because you want to get to Budapest on the airline we chose. You have to fly through Amsterdam. You connect. So we were actually one of the last planes to get out of Amsterdam.
Was there a little anxiety about being stuck there?
I mean, no question. Because we were over here still thinking like, oh, this was a common cold or something. Like people in Europe, like it was a very, very escalated situation already over there. So. We kind of prepped us for, I guess, what was, going to come. So it was a very, very unique situation. I'll say that.
Hey, Austin, when did you get back?
Let me check. Say like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you talked to Baker?
3 weeks. Okay. Yeah, after I made my decision, I gave him a call. We had a nice phone call. Just just really trying to get to know the guy. When we really talk about football too much, we're just, I was just trying to get a feel for him. Vice versa. I mean, we'll be working together, so it was a productive phone call.
Austin, obviously the Browns are going to have some options with 12 personnel packages with you and David Njoku. Just in general, obviously we don't know how much that might happen, but why do you think 12 personnel can be effective for offenses in the NFL right now?
Because more tight ends are on the field, baby. That's all you need to know. That's it.
You're just pro tight end across the board, right?
I mean, of course I'm pro tight end. Are you kidding me? So, I mean, here, what it really does is it creates a matchup problem, right? So, I mean, every defense in the NFL runs nickel, right? Meaning 5 DBs on the field. And if you have 12 on the field and they go nickel, the general rule of thumb is they don't have enough big guys to compete. So you just run the ball. And then if they put a bigger, generally, less athletic linebacker out there compared to a, slot corner, then you throw the ball. You got more advantageous, matchups in the passing game. So I mean, that's kind of been the historical advantages of 12. You can kind of just sit back and see what the defense does, and just have a couple options when you go to line of scrimmage, and just analyze matchups. That's all the game of football is, just matchups.
the way the tight end position is evolving, you kind of, I mean, you got to be loving this, but I mean, you've kind of seen it. I mean, I know there were stars tight ends before, but how do you feel like this is a golden era, or when it was kind of a throwback thing?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's definitely more cool to play tight end now. Just like when, I remember it was almost a decade ago. Or how long ago was it when Richard Sherman was talking trash after the game? I'm like, don't know if your mouth stopped me. I remember after that, everyone wanted to play corner. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, but I can't tell you the
like
year.
Kids in my generation in high school wanted to really start playing DB after that. Anyway, I feel like the same thing kind of happened with Gronk and everything, where now, it's sexy to play tight end now. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird, but it's it's been good. I mean, there's definitely more people who understand the position than they used to. I'm confident in saying that, and it's just it's good to see the tight end position finally getting some love.
Austin, I heard you mention Gronk, and your age puts you right in that wheelhouse when Gronk was becoming likely the first ballot Hall of Famer he is. Other than Gronk, who are some other tight ends you watch, model your game after, and try and steal things from, whether it's finding soft spot in the zone or breaking out a man coverage? Who are some guys you admire?
Well, the guys who I grew up watching were Antonio Gates and Tony Gonzalez, but the guys who I learned from the most since I've been in the NFL have been like Travis Kelce and Jordan Reed and Zach Ertz, too, specifically with Zach on the top of this route. Travis is very good at the line of scrimmage in terms of his way to move his body, and Jordan can do a little bit of all that stuff. Those are the three guys that I would watch when I first came in the league, because Gronk is great, but, a lot of things Gronk does, you have to be, 6'6", 270 to do. So I would watch guys that are more technical than just, free athlete, if that makes sense.
Yep. No, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Hey, Austin, can you kind of just walk us through a little bit of your mentality about last year when you had the real strong numbers and then the injury hit? And is that any kind of motivation for you moving forward, or kind of, what do you view as the next step in your career?
For sure. I was I was on pace. I was on pace there before I got hit low to pass 1,000 yards last year. So that was the ultimate goal for me. Being a mid-round draft pick, being a guy who didn't really become a full-time starter until his second year, and then every year in the league, just I've been just trying to get better. So I feel like that's just my whole goal overall. So like my sophomore season in Atlanta, it was like 500 yards. Third year, it was under 700, and then this past year, missing 3 games, was under 800. So my goal always is just to constantly improve. Like I pride myself off of being pretty consistent, so I just want to keep grinding throughout the off season, and come back next year and just continue to get better. That's my goal every year.
How do you kind of balance? You talked about being a dual tight end, being able to block and run routes. Kind of how do you balance both those duties and figuring out how much time to devote to either?
My opinion, the run game is more about attitude. Like, at the end of the day, like, you're going to be 40 pounds, less than the guy you're going against, right? You could get bigger, but if I get bigger, I'm not going to be as effective at a passing game. I'm not going to obviously be able to run as well if I put on 20 pounds. So I got to stay in that, 49 to 55 range that Coach Stefanski and I were talking about. So being at that weight, most of the run games is about attitude, and it's just about, are you willing to do it? So, the best athletes on the field, the highest paid guys on defense, right, are those guys on the edges. So in my opinion, it's all mental. It's just, are you do you want it or do you not want it? I mean, it sounds kind of lame, but that's honestly what it really is. I mean, you're not going to be stronger than those guys, so it's just, are you willing to fight? That's really all it is. And in terms of the pass game, I mean, that's why I work more, because in my opinion, it's a lot more technical in terms of the way you have to set up people and, remember the moves you used on people in the past, because, route running is, it's kind of like being a pass rusher in the sense you got to remember what moves you put on the, offensive tackle who's, his job is basically be like a DD on the pass rusher. So, I mean, all football is the same. So, I mean, in the route running world, I got to remember what moves I use on people and time it up to get the most separation and get to the point in space I want to be. So, if you're asking me which one I focus on more, I definitely, in the off-season, this part, just focus on the route running component, because the run games, in my opinion, again, it's just more attitude than anything.
Austin, your rookie year lined up with Kyle Shanahan's last year's OC there in Atlanta. Is there anything that stands out with your time with him that you learned about playing the tight end position? Obviously, you see what George Kittle's doing with him now in San Francisco. Did you learn anything that you still carry with you from Shanahan's tutelage?
Oh, I mean, absolutely kind of laid the foundation of my my football education in a sense. So, I mean, there's an innumerable amount of things I learned from him about just, better study habits in terms of, like, before I used to just watch film and not really know what the hell I'm supposed to be watching for. I would see the whole picture.
Yep.
And instead of, focusing on, what I need to be doing. And I think Kyle was great for me in the sense he taught me how to be like a better professional in terms of how to study, how to really take notes, how to just be a, consummate professional. So there are a lot of great things he taught me on the field in terms of the outside zone scheme and, route running fundamentals and things like that. But I mean, the foundation he laid for me just being a professional, I think, stands above all of it.
Austin, when you were evaluating your options of the teams you might go to, how much consideration did you give to the quarterback that you would be playing with, having played with, obviously, an accomplished one in Matt Ryan for 4 years?
Sorry, you cut out in the first half of your question.
When you were considering your options of the teams you could
Yep.
join, how much consideration did you give to the quarterback that you would be playing with?
Yeah, no question. I mean, it's definitely, being in a position that's, dependent upon getting balls from the quarterback, I mean, it's obviously definitely a part of the process for me. And playing against Baker Mayfield live, seeing his arm, seeing his competitive spirit, seeing the way how he can rally the boys around him, I mean, that is what sold me on him before I obviously was even a free agent. This was, 2 seasons ago now when we came up to Cleveland and lost. So, I mean, I knew what he was about for a couple of years now. So, I mean, when the opportunity presented itself on the first day of legal tampering, I couldn't turn it down.